Ever made yourself salivate just by thinking about food? It's kind of a weird thing when you think about it.
Yeah, it's strange how that works.
Turns out our brains aren't very good at separating, like, reality from imagination,
Yeah.
especially when words are involved. That's what we're diving into today.
Okay.
We've got an excerpt from Mind Control,
Yeah.
and this deep dive is all about exploring just how much power our words actually have.
It really is fascinating.
So this book kicks off with this exercise, right?
Okay.
Where it asks you to visualize a lemon.
Okay.
You know, you're holding it in your hand, you're feeling the weight,
Uh-huh.
you smell that bright citrusy scent,
Okay.
and then you bite right into it.
Mm.
Now, did that make your mouth water at all just now?
I didn't actually have a lemon on hand when I read that part,
Right.
but I have to admit, just imagining it, going through those steps,
Yeah.
my mouth did start watering a little bit.
It's wild.
It's like my brain was, for a second, convinced that there was a real lemon right there.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's crazy.
And that's where things start to get interesting.
Okay.
The book explains that our brains don't always, differentiate between what we imagine
Yeah.
and what's actually happening. The words, they act as a trigger, right?
Right.
So even though there's no actual lemon,
Mm-hmm.
our bodies are kind of reacting as if there is.
And it makes you wonder, if words can have that strong of a physical effect, what other impacts are we missing?
It's a great question, right?
Yeah.
Like, if we can make ourselves salivate just by thinking about a lemon,
Yeah.
what else can we do with words?
Yeah.
The book argues that words don't just reflect reality, they actually shape it.
It really does challenge how we usually think about language.
Right.
It's not just a passive way to describe the world.
Yeah,
It actively creates our experience.
totally.
Yeah.
And they illustrate this with something I'm sure we all did as kids, right?
Yeah.
It's that dinner table game where you're trying to gross each other out. Oh yeah.
By describing food in the most repulsive way possible.
For sure.
Like, mashed potatoes are just clouds of baby vomit.
Classic.
And while it seems like harmless fun, the book points out
Yeah,
that it perfectly demonstrates how words can actually change our perception of something.
right.
If you describe food negatively enough,
Yeah.
you can ruin someone's appetite for it.
For sure. That's true.
It's a simple but powerful example of how much influence language has on our experience.
Yeah.
But do you ever catch yourself doing, like, a version of this as an adult?
Oh, all the time.
Like what?
Like, complaining about a task until it feels truly unbearable.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All the
Very
time.
all the time.
And when we start to connect this to the bigger picture, it makes you wonder, how is our everyday language shaping our reality
Right.
in ways we don't even realize?
In ways that we don't even realize.
It really makes you stop and think about all those negative phrases we toss around without a second thought, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Things like, can't complain.
Or calling something a pain in the neck.
Yeah,
Or saying you're sick and tired.
right. Or I'm dying.
All the time.
Yeah.
These phrases that seem so commonplace.
Yeah.
But when you consider how often we use them, like their cumulative effect,
Right.
it could be significant.
Could be significant.
It's almost like we're programming ourselves for negativity,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
If our brains are taking these phrases as commands, as the book suggests,
Yeah.
then over time,
Mm-hmm.
they could lead to actual physical or emotional distress.
It's almost like a subtle form of self-sabotage, I think.
Yeah.
But then it makes you wonder, if negative words can have this kind of impact,
Yeah.
would positive words have the opposite effect?
That's where affirmations come in.
Yeah.
The book talks about this guy, Emile Coué,
Okay.
and he had this famous affirmation. Day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better.
Yeah.
And people have actually reported overcoming serious illnesses just by repeating this phrase.
It sounds kind of simplistic, but there's something compelling about it.
Yeah, and the book goes into Coué's two main principles.
Okay.
So the first is that our brains can really only focus on one thought at a time.
Okay.
So and the second is that when we focus intently on a thought, our bodies actually react as if it's real. So if we're constantly thinking these positive thoughts,
Yeah.
our bodies might actually respond by getting healthier.
It's all connected, the mind and the body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the book actually suggests a modified version of Coué's affirmation.
Okay.
They say that saying, every day, in every way, I am getting better, better, and better during meditation
Okay.
can amplify the effects.
Yeah, it's like you're combining the positive message with a focused mental state,
Right.
making it even more powerful.
But it's not just theoretical, right?
Right.
The book goes on to share some real-life stories about this.
Okay.
And there's one about a soldier in Indochina who used affirmations to cope with, like, an abusive sergeant. And he was experiencing, like, a ton of anxiety and even physical symptoms like coughing and asthma.
It's incredible how he was able to reclaim some control
Yeah.
in such a difficult situation.
And he said that by meditating and repeating positive affirmations, he was able to detach from all the negativity
Wow.
and even found relief from his physical symptoms.
That's incredible.
And then there's this other story
Okay.
about a nurse anesthetist
Okay.
who whispers positive affirmations to her patients while they're under anesthesia.
No way.
Can you believe that?
That's amazing.
It sounds a little out there,
Yeah.
but apparently the results are pretty remarkable.
Wow.
The book says her patients have experienced improved healing
Wow.
and emotional well-being.
Mm.
There's even an example where she whispered to a patient during an operation
Yeah.
to tell their body not to bleed. And the surgeon was amazed
Wow.
because there was hardly any bleeding at all.
It really challenges our understanding of how the mind works, even at an unconscious level.
So if words can have such a profound effect, even when we're not fully aware of them, like, what possibilities does that open up for us in our everyday lives? It makes you think, right?
For sure.
It makes you think.
Yeah, it really does.
And it brings up this really interesting idea from the book
Okay.
that we're actually always conscious.
Oh, wow.
Even on levels we don't typically recognize. Like, our minds are always listening,
Right.
even when we think they're, switched off.
It definitely challenges that traditional view of consciousness.
Right.
Like it's just an on or off switch.
And think about it.
Okay.
How often do we rush into a sleeping child's room? We
Yeah.
adjust their blankets, we leave without saying a word.
All the time.
But what if we paused for just a moment and whispered a few kind words or positive affirmations?
That's interesting.
The book suggests that those little moments of verbal affirmation, even when a child is asleep, would have a big impact on their sense of security and well-being.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that our minds are still receptive
Right.
to the power of words, even in those seemingly unconscious states.
And it's not just about children.
Okay.
The book also mentions that many people who practice these, like mind control techniques,
Right.
they see improvements in their health,
Right.
sometimes even before they finish the course.
Wow, that's incredible.
But it's not always easy.
Right.
The book even shares a story
Yeah.
about how the author actually faced, like, pushback
Oh,
from the medical community
interesting.
because of the effectiveness of mind control.
Because people were being cured.
Some of his patients were telling their doctors that mind control had cured their health problems.
Right.
And these doctors got, like, worried, thinking the author was practicing medicine without a license.
I mean, that's understandable, right? There might be some resistance to
Right.
practices that challenge conventional wisdom.
And thankfully, the
Yeah.
author was able to clear things up, showing that, he wasn't practicing medicine,
Right.
but simply teaching people techniques to empower themselves.
It underscores the importance of open communication
Yeah.
and finding ways for, different approaches to health and well-being to work together.
So where does all this leave us? It seems like the big takeaway is that our words have a profound impact on our minds and bodies.
Absolutely. They shape our realities, influence our well-being,
Yeah.
and may even hold the potential to help us heal.
It's a powerful reminder to, like, pay attention to the language we use,
Yeah.
both with ourselves and with others.
Because even seemingly insignificant words can have a ripple effect,
Totally.
shaping our experiences and those of the people around us.
It really makes you think twice about all those negative phrases, that we tend to use so casually.
Yeah, for sure.
And it really encourages us to explore the potential of affirmations and mindful communication.
Yeah.
So what words will you choose to use today, knowing the power they hold?
Yeah, it really is a call to action to be more mindful
Yeah.
of our self-talk and to really explore the power of positive affirmations,
For sure.
What if we could actually shift our reality just by changing the way we talk to ourselves?
And remember, it's not just about us.
Right.
The words we choose also have a ripple effect,
Totally.
impacting the people around us.
This deep dive has been like a real eye-opener for me.
Yeah.
It's wild to think that something as simple as the language we use can have such a profound impact
It's crazy, right?
on our experiences and even our health.
Yeah, it all comes back to that idea
Mhm.
that we're not just passively receiving language,
Right.
but we're actively creating our reality
Right.
through the words we choose.
That's a pretty empowering thought.
Totally.
Right.
It is.
It means we actually have more control over our lives
Yeah.
than we might realize.
By becoming more mindful of the language we use.
And choosing words that support our well-being,
Mm-hmm.
we can shape our experiences
Right.
and create a more positive reality for ourselves
Hold on.
and the people around us.
To wrap things up, I think the key takeaway here is that words matter.
Yeah, for sure.
They have the power to shape our thoughts,
Mm.
our feelings, and even our physical health.
Well,
And by understanding this power,
yeah,
we can start to use language more consciously
right.
and intentionally to create the lives we want.
It is a challenge, though,
Yeah.
to be more mindful of our self-talk, to
Totally.
challenge those negative thought patterns,
Right.
and really embrace the power of positive affirmations.
It's an invitation to explore the amazing potential of the human mind
Totally.
and its ability to shape our reality through the words we choose.
Right.
So as you go about your day today,
Yeah.
I want you to pay attention to the words you're using.
Uh-huh.
Are you speaking to yourself with kindness and encouragement?
That's a great point.
Are you using language that supports your goals and aspirations?
Yeah.
Because the words you choose today are planting the seeds for the reality you'll experience tomorrow.
For sure.
That's a pretty powerful thought to leave us with.
It really is.
And that's it for our deep dive today.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
It was great to be here.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning,
Yeah.
and keep choosing your words wisely.